Before we get this started, I just want to say, Andrew has a giant cup of Coke.
Oh my god, fuck you.
And no, I'm not done. Andrew has a giant cup of Coke and a Greenwise, which is like Publix, like organic brand, brownie bar. And I have it's basically empty, but I have a 1.5 liter bottle of water, a payday, and a cowtail. Safe to say, Andrew drinks his calories and I eat them.
No, literally. Like, quite literally, actually. Hi, welcome to the Nightmare Rotation. I'm your host, Andrew, and I'm here with our co-host, Nyomie.
Hello.
And this is our first episode. No thoughts?
I didn't know I was supposed to say something.
Yeah, I mean, this is a podcast. You're supposed to speak.
It is our first episode. It's been a long time coming.
It has been a long time coming. We've been preparing a lot.
Yeah, we're both like those people. I feel like everyone thinks that though. Like, oh my god, we can make a podcast. We're so funny. But like everyone tells us that we should make a podcast.
No, for real. Like, we wouldn't be doing this if other people told us not. That's a lie. We're delusional.
Mm-hmm.
We would be doing this regardless. But unfortunately, for you at home, other people did tell us that we should make a podcast, and so
It happens sooner than later.
it happens sooner than later. Our heads are big,
Real.
and we're big chillin' right now, honestly.
Big headed, big backed, and big chillin'.
No. That's not.
It is.
Anyways.
It's the truth.
Is it the truth? So, anywho, so we thought that, like, just to kick it off, you know, we feel like it would just make the most sense to start off with a banger, right? And so obviously, for those of you who don't know, which is probably everyone, we've been besties for 7 years. So
It's been more than 7 years.
Oh, probably
I think it's
9?
Yeah. We were 11.
8?
We were 11,
11?
and I
9.
just turned 20. So
9.
9.
It's been 9. So we've been friends for 9 years, and we've been through a lot of shit together. Hell and back. We took a pit stop in heaven, and
Girl, we went through hell like 6 times.
oh my god, don't get me started.
You know that episode of SpongeBob where they like, now that we're men, dun, now that we're men, and they go to the deep? I don't remember what they say. I don't know what it's called, but that was me and Andrew our whole last 9 years of our friendship.
Bro, we've been in the trenches.
With some fucking seaweed mustaches up in this bitch.
Seaweed mustaches. No, but we've been in the trenches.
In suburbia.
And so, like, I feel like it's just fitting that, like, if we're going to start this podcast, we throw you in the trenches with us.
Real.
Right?
Yeah. You keep looking at me to speak when I have smoke in my lungs. Like, it's terrible timing every time.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. Like, I'm not looking at you when you do the thing to get the smoke.
You should be looking at me. Like, we're the ones having the
I
conversation.
know. I have a really bad attention span. I'm doing my best. I'm so sorry. But I think today for...
You're just right in front of me.
No, I literally am. I think for today, for our story, I think we should talk about our most recent trip.
Oh, what a way to jump straight into it.
No, I think we should just get straight into it because that one was honestly one of the most wild experiences of my life.
For sure.
Certainly traumatizing in several ways.
Yeah, I would say one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another. Yeah, I think we should really start there. I think you should start off the story because you were the first person to start driving.
I mean,
So
yeah.
like
I'm also
really,
just an amazing storyteller.
you are a good storyteller, but you were the first person to drive like that whole day.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so yeah, the trip that he's referencing, we went to Georgia for my birthday that just passed in April. And for public's sake, I'm going to change their names, but the first letters will. So, obviously there was me and Andrew. There's Mike. There's Annie. There's Nathan and Valerie, for story's sake, okay? So I feel like I'm gonna mix up the names, but just pay attention to the first letter, okay? That's all that matters. Just keep that in mind, okay? So yeah, for plot purposes, Valerie and Annie are like dating. We love girls. And then Mike and Nick are obviously, they're just there, right? Okay, and me and Andrew are besties. Of course, we established that already. So that's where everyone lies, you know what I'm saying? So we left on Friday morning, the weekend of, like, before my birthday. And, well, me and Andrew left Friday morning.
Everyone else left
Literally 12 hours
12
later.
hours later because Mike was supposedly working until 4:30, even though Mike was supposedly not going to be able to leave until 6:30, even though they got home at 3:30 from work.
Yeah. So.
But they still didn't leave till 8 p.m.
Yeah. So me and Andrew, we left at about like 8:05, somewhere around that time. And we made a pit stop at my parents' house because they had some goodies that we had to pick up from them. And so we talked to my dad for a hot minute before we left. And then we got on the interstate, which is like right by where my parents were. And so I drove basically all the way through Florida. Like, we didn't stop. We just drove straight through. We tried to only make 2 stops the whole trip anyway. So like, that was kind of the plan. But yeah, so I drove straight through to about 5 miles off the Florida-Georgia line because we live in Florida. And that's when me and Andrew switched to the gas station. Throughout all of this, I was also live on TikTok. So most of our trip there was actually like already filmed, and like I can't access these clips eventually, just like I don't have access to them right now. But
which I really hope you do, because I hope we can hear this fucking.
I just have to
like
verify my age on fucking TikTok. I just keep not doing it.
Yeah, you need to do that, because where this is going, I need to rehear
Real.
what fucking happened, because that was wild.
Yeah, so excuse me. Yeah, so I mean Andrew switched and he drove through Georgia because I am scared of Georgia Highway Patrol. That's that. So we got in Georgia. Andrew drove. We drove all the way around Atlanta, and then I think it was around Atlanta. It was either right before, right? Or like right before Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we stopped right before Atlanta. And this whole drive, so now it's about 4 p.m., I want to say. It was around 4 p.m., I think, by the time we got there. So, we've been driving for a very long time, right? I think it was like, that's like 7 hours?
Something like that.
Yeah. So we've been driving for a really long time, and we were getting our first meal, literally, like, of this drive, because we stopped at a gas station before, like, we even left our city, before we even went to my parents'. So, like, this was our first meal of the drive. And we stopped at a Hardee's.
Mm-hmm.
A Hardee's that was next to this gas station that we got gas at.
Up the hill.
Yeah, it was up a fucking treacherous little hill. Okay, we don't have those in Florida. And so we walked up this fucking hill, and we're getting our Hardee's, right? And so we order our food, and we're sitting at a table waiting for our food.
The phone is still on TikTok Live,
yeah,
by the way.
The phone is, like, we're still recording, and we start getting a call from our group chat that we had for everyone for the trip. And it was Annie, I think, that was calling, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she was the one that was calling. And so she calls. I answered it. Nathan answered it. And Mike was not in the call yet. And Nathan was with Valerie when he answered the phone. So she was also there. But Annie was basically asking if me and Andrew would be able to go to Walmart after we got to the Airbnb to go get like cold meat and stuff like that. And the nearest Walmart, because we were in the middle of nowhere, the nearest Walmart was 45 minutes away, and that's just there. So 45 minutes there and back, right? After we just got done driving all day. So we did not want to do that. And we were already going to a Dollar General that was like 25, 30 minutes away. And so we were just like, we can pick it up from there, like if they have the stuff that you need. But yeah, right?
Mind you, they were sitting at home doing nothing.
Literally. And so she's just like, okay, like, I just don't want it to spoil, blah, 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 blah. And so I literally, like, I was just like, yeah, like, if you need that, we can pick it up from the Dollar General. That was basically what I said. And so then Annie and Valerie and Nathan are all kind of just talking, and me and Andrew aren't really being spoken to. And now this time Mike has joined the call. And so me and Andrew's food is about to get called, so we just hang up the phone because, like, we already told her that we could help. So we hang up the phone. And we grab our food and we're leaving. Or actually, I grab our food and I come back to the table and Andrew's like, oh, Mike called me. And I was like, oh, that means that he probably called me. So I was like, I'll call him when we get outside. So we walk out the door and I check my phone and I have like 3 missed calls from him. And so I call him back and I answer the phone, or he answers the phone. And it's literally like no hi, no fucking hello after hours of driving and not speaking to anyone. None of them have spoken to us until this moment. Like that whole drive, we did not speak to literally any of them. I think we called Nathan like once.
Yeah.
Twice. We called him twice because he wanted to know when we got to Georgia, and like we called him right after we left. But yeah, so catch my breath. Talking fast. I don't even need to talk fast.
Take your time.
But yeah, and so then he answers the phone and he's like, oh, I just find it real fucking disrespectful that you're just gonna hang up on the call. And I was like, I find it real fucking disrespectful that you're gonna call my phone yelling at me like that. Like, hello, who do you think you are?
And at this point, we are outside. Yeah. Like, we are outside.
Marching down this fucking hill.
Down the fucking hill.
That shit was treacherous, dog.
Literally,
times
like,
2.
Busting our ass down a hill while he's yelling at us on the phone.
And so I'm like, I find it real fucking disrespectful that you're going to call my phone and speak to me like that. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you were fucking being disrespectful. Why would you just hang up the call? I was like, do you pay my phone bill? Do you pay my phone bill? Because you're not about to speak to me. And then he hung up, right? So I think I tried to call him back and he sent me to voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did try to call him back and he sent me to voicemail. And once again, this is all on TikTok Live. Like, I will find this fucking video and it will surface the internet at some point in time, okay? But anyways. So, I do try to call him back. He doesn't answer. And so I called Annie because I was like, what's the issue? You know what I'm saying? So I called Annie and I'm like, hey, like, actually, I'm a liar. I opened the group chat and there was a paragraph talking about how disrespectful I was. Me, personally. Not even just we. And I don't even think we answered it on my phone. I think we answered it on your phone.
Yeah, we did answer it on my phone.
So, which is wild. Anyway, I mean, I was the one that hung up. I'm pretty positive.
He sent a paragraph, and then we responded with a voice message, and it was really funny because...
I know. I wish we didn't leave, though, because I wish I could still see them.
I know. That was so funny because it's literally the voice message. There's a paragraph. It's the voice message. It's me going off for, like, 2.5 minutes. I get done, and then Nyomie starts going off for, like, 2.5 minutes. And it's just so funny. Oh, my God.
Like, we both said our piece, and then I sent the voice message, and he responded back with another paragraph. In the first paragraph, like I said, he was calling me disrespectful. Just me, once again. Like, he was calling me disrespectful. Like, it was, first of all, we're a unit. Everyone in our lives knows that. Like, it's not like I hung up the phone and Andrew was like, oh, Nyomie. I hung up the phone and Andrew was like, yeah. Honestly, it was already, like, premeditated in our minds. Not really, but, like, we literally looked at each other, and I was like, I'm just going to hang up. And he was like, okay. And I hung up. Like, girl... It was combined forces. But he said you, and we took it as you guys anyways.
Because we were together, so like...
We read that as you guys anyways, because that's just how we are. We're the same person. But so he was basically just like, yeah, you're so fucking disrespectful. Like, we were trying to figure out if you could help us or not, and you guys aren't even trying to help. Like, he was basically trying to, like, gaslight us. Not gaslight us, but, like, make us feel bad, like, guilt trip us, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was like, you guys aren't doing anything. You're not trying to be helpful. What did he say? Inconsiderate. He called us inconsiderate. That's what he said. He was like, it's really inconsiderate of you. And so in that voice message that we sent, we called him inconsiderate. Both of us in like 4 different ways in those 4 minutes. And he responded back and he was like, I don't even remember what he said, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't even think I read it. I think I hit him with a TDLR. No, TLRD.
TLDR.
Damn it, it's TLDR. I have dyslexia. Yeah, but I think I hit him with I didn't say TLDR, but like, was that right that time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't say that, but I basically was like, I'm not fucking reading what you said. Like, I hit him with one of those. Which he didn't like, and I didn't give a fuck. And then I think I stopped responding in the group chat, and then that's when I called Annie, and I was just like, I thought we were all on the same page. Like, I don't know what he's confused about. And she's like, honestly, I don't know. Like, you guys left the call, and he started getting really mad, and we were all confused. And like, which he used that to try to gaslight us later on. I'm gonna just put that in there. But yeah, she was like, you guys said that you could help, and like, she was like, we're just gonna go to Walmart and put it in the cooler, and it's gonna bring a cooler, we're gonna put a lot of ice in it. And I was like, slay, that works, just let us know if you want us to get anything. Like she was literally fine, everyone was fine. And then I think we called
Nathan and Valerie.
Yeah, then we called Nathan and Valerie after that, which Valerie said the same thing. She literally was like, yeah, I was just confused. And like, I even asked him why he was so mad. Like, once again, this is important for later. And so then time goes by, okay? We don't talk to them at all for the rest of like the thing. I think I talked to just Nathan and Valerie after that. I didn't even talk to Annie because she was driving with Mike and it just was not for me. You know what I'm saying? Which should have been the first red flag.
No, for real.
Let's play a game, viewers, and with everything that I've already said. And everything that Andrew has already said, because he also said an important thing that should have been a red flag. Tally how many red flags that you guys see on some members of the group. And
by the end of the story.
Yeah, and see if you can see what's coming before I tell you. Anyways, so, yeah, time has now gone by. And me and Andrew are now getting to the Airbnb. It's still like daylight outside. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock now.
It's like starting to sunset.
Yeah, like it was getting pretty outside, basically, is what we're saying. And we were up in the mountains of Georgia, like literally like right by the Georgia state line, like going to like Tennessee kind of. And we get there, we bring our stuff inside, we put everything in the fridges and stuff like that. I think we just walked around the house, checked it all out, gave our friend Bianca a little tour on the TikTok live because we were still live. And then we left and we went to the Dollar General. So now it's about like 8 o'clock, I want to say. I feel like it was about 8 o'clock. We came back and it was probably almost 10 because like it was a decent drive.
Mm-hmm.
Probably almost 10.
And they had like just started driving. Like by the time we got back to the Airbnb from the fucking Dollar General, they had been on the road for like 2 hours.
Like when we left to go to the Dollar General, I think they had literally just left like the city. Like they were still in Florida. And we were watching their location. They drove together. So like they drove in 2 separate cars, but like they drove together like Fast and Furious style, you know what I'm saying? It took them an hour to get from our house to the interstate line, like to get on the interstate. That's like a 25-minute drive. And it took them an hour. Because
they stopped at fucking Zaxby's.
Because Mike wanted to get Zaxby's. Anywho, so yeah, they are officially on the way, right? They make a couple stops, I'm pretty sure, in Florida before they even left Florida. Like, they made, like, 5 stops in total, like, combined both cars. And me and Andrew only made 2.
Literally.
But, so, anywho, yeah. We get to, blah, 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 blah. We get back to the Airbnb. Me and Andrew kind of just chilling. Like, Andrew wanted to watch Drag Race. I had stuff I needed to do. And so we were just chilling. And then it was about 12 o'clock. I think literally 12 o'clock hit. Like, it was, like, literally 12 on the dot, I think. And then Andrew finished his show, so we started getting crunk. Because one thing about me and Andrew is we can have a party just the two of us. Like, we literally don't need
nobody
anyone else.
Literally don't need nobody else.
This is my twin and him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started getting crunk. I think we both had, like, 1.5 drinks.
No,
maybe
literally.
2 at max.
Because we had
I think
like,
it was 2. I think we both had 2.
We had 2, and we had, like, nothing to eat all day. So we had 2, and by the time we had 2, we
weren't even done with our first drinks yet. We were literally on the floor laughing. Like, on the floor cackling about what these chips looked like. Because Andrew got these bag of, like, what was it? Like, sweet heat?
Yeah, it was, like, some sweet... I don't even know. It was some Lay's
like, it was
chips.
Like sweet heat or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I opened the bag. And I look, and, like, these potato chips had no seasoning on them. Like, no seasoning on them. Like, it was literally just bare potato chips in this bag. And so I opened it, and I'm confused. And so I show her, and then we both just ended up being on the floor laughing at these fucking potato chips. And then, like, a good 10 minutes go by, and then all of a sudden music's playing, and we're both shaking ass on the coffee table.
Well, I was
shaking ass on the coffee table.
And I don't remember what the song is called. But he was shaking ass to that one song. I mean, honestly, it's actually appropriate. Because I'm pretty sure... I don't know. But it's the one where he's like... I'm gonna stomp my feet in some Georgia mud. Make me fall in love. Get up now, mom, nanny tractor. It don't matter.
Yeah, I think they got it.
But I'm pretty sure it's... Is that not the song where it's like... Country girl, shake it for me, girl.
It is.
Shake it. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of appropriate if you think
it was appropriate. But we were crunk.
I also have a video of us. It's like 6 minutes long, by the way. I don't know if you know it's that long. Of us doing runway walks back and forth.
That was so much later throughout the night,
God,
though.
it was. You're so right.
I think that was another day.
I have a cowboy hat on in that video. You're so right. But that video is so funny. I showed it to Sarah at work when I came home. She loved it. Anywho, safe to say we had a fabulous time.
We did, just the two of us.
And so now it's like 1:30.
No, literally, when I say that in the time that we got back from the Dollar General, not even like 2 hours after, from midnight to the time that they got there, which is literally like 4:30 in the morning.
That was the most fun we had the whole weekend.
No, but I was going to say, I mean, it was the most fun we had the whole weekend, but I was going to say that, like, we got high, drunk, and sobered up by the time they got there. Like, we were crunk, we were crossfaded, and by the time they got there, I was back to square one.
That bitch was well rested, too.
No, I took a nap.
He just dropped his
nap.
mic.
It was great. I just dropped the mic.
But yeah, so it's about like 1:30, I think is safe to say. And now we are sat on the couch in the living room watching Queso play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Bro, this shit was so funny. I fell asleep to him on the TV being like, yo, I just don't get these mechanics. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. I woke up and this man was talking about, let's fucking go. I'm fucking beast mode at this fucking game. I know this fucking game so fucking well. Nobody can. I was like, I must have been out for some time.
Oh, and it's so funny because he wakes up, rolls over, looks at me. We make solid eye contact for like 4 seconds. He flicks me off, rolled over, and went back to bed. Swear to fucking God.
I don't even remember doing that.
Are you kidding me?
I'm so dead ass.
Because like I was sitting next to him on the couch at first, but we both were going to take a nap. So I ended up moving, but then I just couldn't fall asleep. And so like I was just sitting on a different chair that was like across from him. And so he like, it was ridiculous. Anywho, 4 o'clock comes and I'm watching their location. Well, actually I couldn't even see their location anymore because there was no fucking service. So their locations weren't loading. But their last known location, like I was calculating, like I was a mathematician, which I'm not. And so their estimated arrival was about 4:15, and they got there, I think, literally 2 minutes prior. I think it was 4:13 when they got there. I don't remember who came in first. I feel like it was Annie, because I know that Nathan was the last person to come inside.
Yeah.
So I think it was Annie, because I know it was not Mike, because he came in after someone else, and which I think was Annie, if I'm correct, and that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure Annie came inside first, and like she hugged us. She's like, "Oh my god, annoying ass bitch." Sorry, that's preluding, but is that the right word to use?
Foreshadowing?
Great, that's foreshadowing. Anywho, and so she's like excited to see us. Whatever. She starts walking around the house. Mike comes inside, and he tries to walk up to us and give us a hug. And I looked at him and I said, "Yikes." And he said, "Oh, so you're still mad?" And I was like, I deserve an apology." And he's tried to be like, "Oh, I deserve one too."
Bitch for what? Like, literally bitch for what?
It is what it is, you know? And so Valerie comes inside. She was really excited to see us, and hers was genuine. But she was really happy to see us. Nathan comes inside. He was worried about our safety, so he was just glad to like see us like okay.
Oh my god, no, because we have to talk about that.
That's true.
It was fucking petrifying.
It was really scary, especially because a lot of windows were left open.
No, so like we were literally in the middle of fucking nowhere in the woods, like in the mountains.
Middle of nowhere in the woods.
We had no service other than the Wi-Fi that was provided at the Airbnb, and the Wi-Fi fucking sucked. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah, you could not make calls unless you had your Wi-Fi calling on.
So, like, we were there and it gets dark, and then all of a sudden we realize half the windows have no fucking curtains and no fucking blinds.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is like a cabin thing or not, but both the cabins I've stayed in were like this, but it was split into 3 floors, and so like both of the like other bedrooms were downstairs, and then the main bedroom was like on the loft area kind of, and so like the bottoms like was like the basement, like it was basically underground.
Mm-hmm.
Like our bedroom window was at like someone could walk up to it and kneel, and they would just be in our window. You know what I'm saying? And so on the ground floor, like the actual like that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
The floor that's not the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on the ground floor, all the windows on the front side of the house have no curtains. I think the ones in the living room did, but all the ones in the kitchen did not. Like, they had no curtains at all whatsoever, and they weren't even like tinted glass.
And we were absolutely petrified.
Like, it was scary because like it was so dark, and like I said, we're surrounded by woods, so like we could not see. So like someone could have been standing there and we would not be able to see them. And so like me being me, like us being us, it's a girl and a gay in the woods. It was scary.
It was.
And so I called Nathan and I was just like, "Yo, like,
y'all need to get here."
I was like, "Yeah, you guys need to get here. Like, I don't feel comfortable falling asleep. I don't feel comfortable being here alone." Like, and so he was like, "Just make sure all the windows and doors are locked." Blah blah blah. So, and he was like, "And close all the blinds that you can." So me and Andrew go floor by floor. The back door was open, like for the balcony. Which, I mean, it's the balcony, but like the balcony is also surrounded by ladders that are only reachable from under the balcony. If you really think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, creepy. But that door was open. One of the windows in the living room was open. One of the windows in one of the bathrooms were open. And then the back door was, like, only halfway locked. I'm pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were a little sketched out after that. But we did lock everything, obviously, and then close all the blinds and shit. But that was really spooky. I'm not gonna lie.
It was.
The one in Colorado was not that bad.
No. But that's because there were other people around us.
That's
like,
true.
they weren't that far.
I mean, neither were these people.
No, that's true. That's fair. Yeah.
Like, neither were these people, but it was far enough.
Well, but, like, we weren't in the middle of nowhere in Colorado. Like, we were
That's
near,
true. We were
like,
by
a
the
town.
city. Yeah, that's true. This was literally the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. But back to the story, they get there, and y'all, like... Basically, y'all went on the fucking balcony to talk.
Yeah.
And so...
And that's why I was making emphasis on me talking to Annie and Valerie earlier about how they said they didn't understand, and like they both said in the call that they were confused. Because when we get on the balcony, he basically just starts to say that like, oh, everyone else in the call was confused too, like they didn't understand either. And like, yeah, girl, they didn't understand you, bestie bae. They weren't worried about me. They knew me. They were worried about you. And so I basically had to like kindergarten teacher talk to him like, okay, friend, that's not very nice, and that's not how you treat people. And I ate him up. I made him feel really bad. And like, props to me, kudos to Naomi, because I was like, I don't think I told you this. I don't think I told you anything that we talked about on the balcony. But I basically was like, dude, talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. Like, I was like, I want you to understand that. And like, that upset him. Like, he was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, I'm not a brick wall. Like, I care. What do you mean? I was like, no, but you like to act like you don't care. And so speaking to you is like talking to a brick wall, because I'm sitting here expressing like how you made me feel, and you're acting like you don't give a fuck, and that is not making the situation any better. And he was just like, well, I do care. I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at my boss. Like, I had a really shitty day at work. And I was like, okay, and that's all you needed to say, is that you weren't mad at me, but you took it out on me and you were sorry. That was all I needed from you.
Which he was mad because of his boss, but he still went out of his way to call us multiple times.
No, like, literally.
Called you 3 times, and then he called me twice. And then answered the call when you called him back. Like, and then wrote a paragraph. And then wrote another paragraph. Like, did your boss really have you that mad? Like, what did your what did your boss do? Because you didn't get fired, so like, what are we that mad about?
No, but it's just like, that's all you had to say. Like, literally at the beginning, you could have literally just been like, sorry, I've been mad all day. I had a bad day at work, and that's not an excuse. It's just why I was mad. I shouldn't have taken it out on you, and I'm sorry. That's what a grown adult says. Okay? That's not how he did this. I had to break it down for him and make the pieces fit in his head for him to be like, oh my God, that's why I treated you that way. And so then, like, finally, he apologized, and then I apologized because he wanted me to, and I did not want the whole weekend to be like trashy, which is so funny, so ironic. But I didn't want the whole weekend to be like tough, so I basically was just like, yeah, like, I'm sorry I reacted the way that I did. Which, once again, that's just the mature thing to do. Okay, so that's what I did. And then Andrew kept coming out on the porch, and he kept telling Andrew to leave. And so finally Andrew came back, and so we actually let Andrew stay this time because we were smoking a blunt. And so, like, can I say that?
Yeah, I mean, girl, this is the Nightmare Rotation.
Real. Yeah.
No, that's not even what happened, because they were on the balcony talking, and they were smoking a blunt, and I felt bad for everyone else, because they had been waiting to smoke a blunt the whole drive up. Like, they'd all been waiting.
Girl, how the fuck do you think we felt?
No, I know. Girl, and I wasn't out there either. And so we were waiting on them, and I just kept trying to go out there and be like, let's go. Like, we're all waiting, and they just kept taking forever. So they just started smoking their own bowl, like, on the front porch.
Oh my God.
And so we're sitting out on the front porch, and I go inside I don't even know what I went inside to do. And as I walk inside, I walk past the fucking Ring camera, and I'm like, oh shit. This Ring camera can see us smoking on the front porch.
It probably couldn't.
I don't even think it was working.
I think it worked.
I don't know.
Anyways.
And so I walk out there and I tell them, and I'm like, hey, so we've been smoking out on the front porch because we got tired of waiting, but I think that the Ring camera can see us. And then Mike flips out again. Literally. For no reason. It wasn't that deep. And so then everyone ends up on the balcony, and now we're all smoking the blunt together.
Mike flips out, and he runs out front.
Starts yelling at them.
Yells at them, and the camera can literally, Rings can hear, okay? And so he's like, you guys can't smoke out here. Why are you smoking out front? The camera can see you. Yeah. So then everyone comes to the back porch, the balcony. And we smoked that first blunt for everyone.
Bro, it was like 5 a.m. by this point.
Yeah. And then everyone started drinking again. Well, not again. We started drinking again. Everyone else started drinking. And then it was like 7 o'clock, I think, by the time everyone like went to bed.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, so everyone went to bed. Valerie and Manny were sharing a room, and then me and Andrew were sharing a room, and then Mike and Nathan were sharing a room, but there was like 2 separate beds in their room, so they had separate beds. But like me, Andrew, and Annie and Valerie were both like sharing beds with each other. You know what I mean? And so the next morning, I woke up at like 11 o'clock, I want to say. And I'm always usually the first person awake, but we were with 2 men who wake up at the fucking crack of dawn. So I was honestly surprised, but I was the first person up. And so I go upstairs and I start like opening the house, you know, opening shift type shit, opening the blinds, whatever. And as I go to open like the screen for the balcony door, I hear thumping up the fucking stairs, and Nathan is crippled. He has a fake leg. And so I hear him thumping, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then he appears. I'm like, oh, good morning. You know, whatever. We're kikiing. Mike comes upstairs. The 3 of us are on the balcony. We're smoking. We're just talking. And then Nathan wants to go into the city to go to Walmart and get some groceries that we need and stuff like that. So he leaves at like 11:45, 11:30ish. And he's gone for like 2 hours. So like he didn't come back till like 2 o'clock. And this time me and Mike start making breakfast. So he's making eggs and I'm making pancakes. Well, I made a few pancakes.
Nasty ass fucking pancakes.
He made nasty ass pancakes and nasty ass eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And so on Sunday morning, I made sure I was the only person who made the pancakes.
Bro, tell me why he made these fucking eggs, puts fucking slices of fucking cheese on top of the eggs
after they're off the pan.
After they're off the pan, and then puts the plate in the microwave to melt the cheese on the eggs. Safe to say, I did not eat them.
He did not. But yeah. And so everyone eats, you know, whatever. And then Nathan comes back. And I think we all did our own thing for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Until around like 4:30, I think. For about an hour and a half, I think we all did our own thing.
Yeah.
I was reading. Andrew was reading. I think Annie was like outside fucking journaling or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told. And then, yeah. So at about like 4:30, I want to say, there's like a river that was behind the Airbnb. So we went down to the river that was behind it. And we started a fire because there's a fire pit. And so we're all sitting out there, we're smoking, whatever, it's cool. And they get the bright idea that they want to smoke this next blunt across the river. For whatever reason. I have no clue what dawned on them, but it is what it is.
This river was fucking freezing.
I don't know, I didn't touch it. I really wanted to, but I never did.
I touched it, it was so cold, it was absolutely freezing.
Like, a part of me really wanted to go with them, but something was like, don't go. And honestly, I'm so glad that I didn't. Like, whatever that was God. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That was her. But they decided they want to cross the river, so they all cross, like all 4 of them. And me and Andrew stay on this side. Andrew's watching the fire, like whatever. And so they start smoking this blunt, and like we can see them. And so I'm like, well, if they're gonna go over there, like I'm gonna go pack us a joint so we can smoke by ourselves. Like, hello. And
as
so,
you should.
Yeah. So I go inside, and I do that. And by the time I come back, they're gone. Like, they're literally gone. Like, we could not see them anymore. They were so far up this mountain. Like, it was a mountain, and they were just hiking in the woods. Barefoot. Both the girls were in bikinis.
Mm-hmm.
And
our one friend has one leg.
Literally one leg. And
hiking up this mountain.
His good foot was barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also wearing wet jeans.
Yeah,
and I don't know if any of you have walked in wet jeans, but that shit is not fun.
For real.
And so... Me and Andrew we're chilling. Andrew's scrolling through fucking Twitter. I don't even remember what I think I was reading. I don't even remember, but I was doing something. Yeah. And I checked my phone, and now it's like 5:30, and they left at about 5 o'clock. And so I'm like, they've been gone for 30 minutes. It does not take 30 minutes to smoke a blunt. And so I was like, if they're still not back in 30 minutes, so which would be an hour, we need to start like worrying. You know what I'm saying? And so once again, 30 more minutes go by. And they are still not back. So now me and Andrew are like, what the fuck? So we spend like a good 10 minutes in the backyard, like trying to scream, see if they can hear us, whatever. Because we could hear them playing Marco Polo like previously. So like we tried screaming to see if they would hear us. And they did not, safe to say. So we're like, let's go in the house to see if we can get service. Also, side note, this is important. None of them brought their phones.
None of them. We had all of their phones.
Except for Mike's.
Mm-hmm.
But we were in an area that had no service, so it wasn't really helpful for us, at least. They were able to use like the offline Google Maps to find their way back, but like they couldn't contact anyone, you know. So now it's like 6:15, so it's been an hour and 15 minutes. We're inside. My Wi-Fi finally connects. I'm receiving notifications, and I got a text from Mike, and it says SOS, come get us. And so I check his last seen location on Find My iPhone, and it's 2 houses down. I'm like, there's no way they don't know that they're 2 houses down. But it was also 20 minutes ago. Like, that text was 20 minutes prior to me seeing it. So I was like, there's no way that they're in the same spot that they were when they texted me, because our friends aren't the brightest. Well, the one that was leading the pack is not the brightest, and would not sit in one spot, even if it was what was best for him.
Mm-hmm.
So we know for a fact that they kept walking.
Yep.
So I was like, they're definitely not still there. And so now it's 6:30, and I'm freaking the fuck out, because we are in a whole different state. I'm like, who the fuck am I supposed to call when my friends get lost in the woods? Like, is there a Georgia Forest Patrol? Because I need her. And so we decided to get in Nathan's truck, and go look for them. And we went in the wrong direction, which we really should have just went the other way at first, like we said that we were going to. But we went in the wrong direction. They weren't there. We turned around. We drove back towards the Airbnb. And as we're going to turn, because we were going to stop to see if they made it back before we kept going the other way, we see them coming down the street. And so Andrew like honks at them, whatever. They get in the back of the truck, and Valerie is so happy to see us. Like, she literally was so happy to like be rescued. She literally said that. She literally was like, I am so happy that you guys came. And Nathan was also like very apologetic and very, grateful, whatever. And Mike is just sitting there acting like he just had the best time of his entire fucking life. And so we get back to the Airbnb. And
Nyomie gets out of the truck, goes inside, disappears.
Literally had a mental breakdown.
I get out of the truck because I was driving it. By the way, first time ever driving a truck. Also, my first time ever driving a vehicle with fucking rear wheel drive. That shit is weird.
It is kind of weird.
Don't get that shit. That's weird. Anyways, I get out of the door.
Which, I just want to say before you say this, I was the reason that he fell. You know that, right? Because I was rushing inside and he was screaming my name, trying to get my attention. And so he was rushing to get out of the truck behind me.
Bro, I get out of the truck and I just hear a thud on the ground. And I turn around and he just busted his fucking ass on the ground. Like, he busted his fucking knee.
He is Mike, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Mike. And so Nathan rushes to him and I'm just standing there looking at him. And I'm low-key pissed off. Like, I'm low-key irritated from having to go fucking find them, because I know whose fault it is, and it's not Nathan's, and it's not Annie's, and it's not Valerie's. So you do the math.
Real.
So he's on the ground and I walk away from him on the ground. I can't lie. And I go inside and I look for you, and I went in our room and you weren't there. And so I went to go in the bathroom, and it was locked. And I said,
I was in there.
Found her.
Yeah.
And so I just went in our room, and I just, like, sat on the bed because I knew you would come in there eventually. And once everyone, like, came inside. Actually, no, I think you were in the bathroom, and I was like...
You did text me and say...
Did I text you?
You did.
I texted her, and I was like, Mike just fell. And that's what made you come out, I think.
Actually, so you texted me that, and I heard them come inside after you texted me that, and I was still sobbing in the bathroom.
Yeah, by the way, that's what she was doing in the
I
bathroom.
was literally having, like, a panic attack. And so, well, I was actually coming off of, like, anxiety, so like, it was all just, like, overwhelming, and, like, the breakdown just hit, but, yeah, and so I hear them all come inside, and I hear them being like, oh, we need a Band-Aid, oh, we need Band-Aid, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, I did not think anyone else would have brought Band-Aids, if I'm being honest. And I brought a whole first aid kit.
Yeah, you did.
So I, like, cleaned up my face, and I walked out, and I was like, do you need Band-Aids? And he was like, no, we have some. And I said, okay. And then he said something. He was talking about like how he had so much fun. And I remember I turned around and I looked at him, and I said it like 3 times to him, but I turned around and I looked at him. This was the first time I said it. And I was like, I'm so glad that you had a great time, because I did not. Like, I was like, that was not fun for me. And I turned around and I went into our room and I shut the door, and then I just sat on the floor and I kept crying.
Literally. And so I was sitting on the bed, and like, I'm used to it. Like, not used to it, but like, I'm familiar with how she is, and just like, there's nothing I can do.
I'm a person who just likes to have space.
Yeah, so I was just letting her have her moment, and then Nathan came in, and he was just like, "Oh, are you okay?" Blah blah blah. And Loki, by the time he came in, I think you were like,
I was
finishing.
clearing up. Yeah.
And so then we were just in there talking for a little bit. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, he just
left.
hugged me and like he apologized, and then he left.
And then we were in there.
No, and then I think did he, Mike? No.
I don't even know.
I don't think he did.
All I know is at some point we left to go eat burgers.
Or actually, no, I was sitting in there with Nathan. Nathan was in there, and Mike just walked in the room without knocking on the door.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally was like, who the fuck just walked in our room without knocking on the door? And he turned around and just left. Didn't even like knock on the door and come back in. Like, he literally just left. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And so, yeah, then we ended up going back upstairs. Annie and Valerie about to take a shower together. I'm pretty sure that Mike had already taken a shower. And so did Nathan. And so Nathan starts making the burgers. And Mike decides that he needs like
his own
special
burger
patty that has cheese stuffed inside it. So he takes a slice of cheese, stuffs it in, which I think he used 2.
No, he used like 3.
Was it?
Because he rolled it. The ball was like this big. He
true.
rolled it up into a ball and stuffed it inside this fucking patty.
It was at least
and
like 2 to 3.
It was a thick ass ball.
And he used like 2 patties worth of meat. So like 3 slices of cheese on the inside and 2 patties worth of meat to make this fucking cheese filled patty.
And it had the audacity to look at me and say I couldn't eat another burger.
We're not there yet.
Just saying.
But yeah, this cheese filled giant patty. And so Nathan like forms the rest so we all can have like 2 each basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we all besides Mitch. Nope. So we all besides Mike can have 2 each because he had his own giant patty. Like that was literally the whole purpose. Just want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so Annie and Valerie get out of the shower by the time the burgers are done. So we're sitting down. We're all making our like burgers. I'm pretty sure we all just made a double cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all use 1 slice of cheese too. Like
I used to.
I only used 1. But Mike also put another slice of cheese on top of his patty.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What a bitch.
Yeah. And then we all ate our burgers, whatever. And then Andrew, did you make a double the first time?
What do you mean?
Like, did you make a double cheeseburger the first time, or did you do 1?
I made a double cheeseburger.
Okay.
I only ate 1 burger.
Yeah, and then there was, we all only ate 1 burger.
Except for Mike and Nathan.
Yeah. Which we were, like, totally okay with Nathan having more than enough because he got robbed out of breakfast that day.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we were totally fine with that. Like, we were actually trying to feed him more because he had eaten less than the rest of us because he's a, like, cowboy gentleman who likes to be like, no, everybody eats first and I'll eat what's left over. So he was barely eating. So we wanted to make sure that he, like, ate. And so then there ended up being like 1 extra patty, and Andrew was going to eat it because, like we just established, Mitchell had his own giant fucking patty with 4 slices of cheese in it.
Valerie didn't want another one. Annie didn't want another one. And then you said you were fine.
Yeah, I was chilling.
So I was going to take it.
Nathan literally told you to take it.
And yeah.
And so Andrew goes to like start making this fucking burger. You can say this part.
And then Mike looks at me and he's like, I had chips and you didn't, and you didn't have chips, so I'm gonna have it. And I was just like, what? And the next thing I know, he grabs this fucking patty, palm all over this shit, like grabs this shit like like a fucking disc. Like I don't even know how you explain the way this man was holding that shit, bro. Like a frisbee. He was gonna like.
I don't think that's how you.
I don't know. He grabbed that shit.
He palmed it.
He palmed the fuck out of that shit. That's what matters. And I didn't get another burger. So this man got like hella fucking food. And this man ate like 5 sandwiches.
Yeah, he did. He did
like,
eat like 5 sandwiches.
Literally ate like 5 sandwiches.
And like a whole bag of chips by himself.
And so we finished eating, and Valerie is like, I don't feel good, so I'm gonna go take a nap. And we're all like, okay.
Which
like
she just ended up going to bed.
No, yeah. She was like, I'm gonna go take a nap. And we're like, okay, like, text one of us whenever you're like awake or something. And she was like, okay. And then we never saw her again for the rest of the night.
We did, but
eventually.
Not while everyone was still awake.
So at this point, we're all sitting in the living room and we make s'mores.
Yeah, because there was like a fireplace in the living room.
And Nathan is drunk
as fuck.
And he goes into the bathroom, and none of us knew she was in there, but I guess Annie was in there throwing up. And none
of us had any idea.
And so he was in there helping her, and so she walks out, and we were like, oh, okay.
Well, no, we like established that she was in there at some point because we heard him talking every time he went in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, what the fuck? And then we asked him, and he lied about it.
No, literally. Because she didn't want us to know that she was throwing up.
Yeah, like we asked him, and he was like, oh, no, I don't remember what he said he was doing, but he lied about it. And then he walked in, and I looked at Andrew and Mike, and I was like, I think Annie's in there. She was. Yeah.
And so she walks out, and we're like, oh, do you want s'mores? And she's like, no, I'm okay. And she sits on the couch next to Mike. And so me and Naomi go into the kitchen, and we start cleaning up. And so at some point, I just sit down, and I'm on my phone, and Naomi keeps cleaning. And so
Which is just a chronic thing that I do.
Yeah.
In general, but also, like, really bad at Airbnbs. Like, I clean up after everything that we do. Like, if everyone leaves one room and moves to the next one, I am cleaning up the room that we all were just in. Like, I'm a mother. No drama. Proceed.
And so I'm sitting there on my phone, and I look up, and next thing I know, Naomi's gone. And I get a text message, and she's like, come downstairs, don't let them see you. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I wish you could find it. We probably can't.
We probably could.
But I was like, come downstairs and be sneaky.
You were like, be sneaky, don't let them see you. And so I'm tiptoeing, and I'm tiptoeing down the stairs, and Mike turns around, and we make eye contact, and I'm just like, sup? And so we go down the stairs, and there was like a second living room downstairs. Like, it was like in the bedroom, but it had just been like another living room. Like, there was this couch in there. So me and Emmy were just in there fucking around, like fucking with each other.
Which, before we had went downstairs while we were cleaning the kitchen, there was like a blunt package on the counter, and I was like, oh, there's already a blunt in there. Like, Mitchell rolled it earlier for later. God damn it. I was like, there was a blunt thing on the counter, and I was like, oh, there's already a blunt in there because Mike had rolled it earlier for like later, which I was like, later should be like now. And so Andrew goes in the living room, and he asks them, he's like, so are you guys gonna smoke this? And I don't know what he's doing.
That's when he was like, oh, we'll do it later.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And so we're in the room, and we're waiting for them to like tell us, and all of a sudden we hear like chairs like, scraping on the fucking roof above us, because the room we were in was right underneath the balcony. And so we hear chairs scrape, and instantly we grab all our shit. We're out the room, up the stairs. Like, that shit was wild.
Like, we literally like snapped at each other, like literally like looked at each other, and I was like, they're starting to smoke.
No, literally.
And we dipped out that house so fast.
And so I was in front, and so we walk up the stairs, and we walk through like I don't even know what you call that. There was like a desk there.
You walk through the kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen.
And there's like a study area.
Yeah. And so I look outside, the light to the balcony is off. I'm like...
And we can, like, hear murmuring.
Yeah, like, you can hear murmuring from the balcony, and the light is off, and I don't see them, and I just go, where the fuck are they?
And it
then
goes
all of a sudden,
silent.
it goes silent. So I turn the light on. Once again, look out the window. I don't see them. I open the door. I step out onto the balcony. I cock my head to the right, and they're like huddled up on this like bench, this like swinging bench. What?
And I cock my head to the right.
I did though.
I went downstairs in my messy bun with my big brown eyes, and I saw One Direction standing there. And I said, "Mom, did you sew me to One Direction?" That is the vibe that you just gave me.
Anyways, I cock my head to the right, and they're sitting on this like swinging bench thing, like, because it was cold, so they're like under a blanket together, and they had like pulled a chair out in front of them, and they had their feet on the chair. And so I look at them, and they're like, "Oh, turn the lights off. We were stargazing, like we were looking at the stars." And so I'm like, "Okay."
So I turn the lights back off.
Yeah, we turn the lights off, and we go out there, and they've already lit the blunt.
Yeah, like it was already
lit.
Yeah.
And so we sit down,
and I'm looking at the stars.
We look up.
Like I'm literally like, within the first like 10 seconds of me sitting down, it was the quickest observation I could have ever made. I literally look up, I'm looking, and I go, "Oh my God, that's the Big Dipper literally right there." And they both go, Where? Have you not been out here for the last, like, it's been at least 3 minutes that they've been out there.
No.
Talking about we were stargazing. So how did you not already find that?
It was so very noticeable.
Yeah.
And so we're out there, we're smoking the blunt or whatever, and so the blunt finishes, and Annie is immediately like, "Okay, let's go back inside." And so...
Like, instantaneously.
And so we go back inside, and they go sit back on the couch, and they are both still underneath the same blanket. And
now at this point in time, they're like cuddling.
Yeah, they're like cuddling. But like nothing crazy. Like they're just like on each other.
Like an arm around her kind of thing.
Yeah. And so me and Naomi like go downstairs.
Yeah.
And we're leaving the next morning. So Naomi comes back up and she's like, "Let me double check what time I need to wake up."
Yeah, because I was going to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
And you didn't need to.
Yeah, no.
And so I think we ended up going back into that room for a little bit.
You did.
I did, because I ended up reading my book. But then Naomi was in the room watching a video.
Yeah, I was watching Jinxie.
And then I walked into the room and I like fell asleep.
No, this is actually so funny. He comes in the room and I go to put my AirPods in because Andrew's usually like no sound in the background kind of person. And so I go to put my AirPods in and he stops me before I can even put my AirPod in. He just goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, putting my AirPods in. And he's like, "No, I want the sound." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay." I put my AirPods back in the case. I left the video playing. I think we both fell asleep around the same time because I also fell asleep pretty quickly after that.
And we didn't even talk about where Nathan was during all this time.
Oh my God.
So during all of this time, okay, so Nathan was like we said, Nathan was drunk as fuck.
And this is all before me and Andrew went downstairs the first time.
Yeah. This is all before we started cleaning.
This was while we were cleaning because I told Mick to... Mick? It doesn't matter. I just said it starts with an M. That's all you need to pay attention to. I told Mick to, put him to bed. Like, I was like, you need to take Nathan downstairs.
And so Nathan takes his leg off.
Because he thinks he's too drunk to walk down the stairs.
Yeah, so he takes his leg off and fucking slides down the stairs on his ass, and instead of like helping him, Mike just takes a video
and then leaves him
like
does not walk down the stairs or try to help him put him in bed, like just leaves him,
and his leg is still upstairs. And so me and Naomi walk over there, and Naomi looks at it and she points at it, and I see it, and I was like, oh, how is he gonna get up the stairs in the morning?
That shit was so funny. But yeah.
And so that's when he went to sleep. So that was like literally like while we were cleaning.
Yeah. So me, Andrew, Mike, and Annie were the last 4 people awake.
So fast forward, we're asleep.
So what I just said, yeah, we were asleep. I woke up around like 2 o'clock. I want to say like 2:20, 2:30ish, to thumping, which I assumed was just like Mike finally going to bed. Well, actually, that's not what I assumed. I actually assumed it was Mike upstairs making a mess, and I got pissed. But I was like, hopefully he's not up there making a fucking mess, and he's just going to bed. But it was people coming down the stairs. I later like found it, like I figured that out. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, I woke up to that, and then I woke up again at like 4 a.m. Which I didn't hear anything that time, so I thought I just had the munchies. Unbeknownst to me, I'm pretty sure it was Valerie walking down the stairs that woke me up. But I got out of bed and I grabbed a fucking Twinkie.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. And I devoured that bitch. I devoured it. It was fucking delicious. And so I had my Jinxie video playing. I had my AirPod in. And I finished the Twinkie. Like, I literally, like, I take the last bite. I literally was licking my, like, actually, like, I mean this. Licking my fingers clean. I hear our door open. And where I was laying in our bed, there was a mirror. And I could see the door. And so I'm just watching someone walk into our room. And I'm like, who the fuck is in my room right now at 4 o'clock in the morning? And so this person is coming around the bed. I can't see it. It's dark as fuck. And it's Valerie. And so she's like, do you know where Annie is? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was not ready for interaction. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, Annie, I don't know where Annie is. I just woke up and she was not next to me. And they said that she was with you last. And I said, who is they? And she was like, Nathan. And I was like, well, Nathan was asleep the last time I saw Annie, so he doesn't know shit. Last time I saw Annie, she was with Mike. And Valerie goes, she was with Mike? And I'm like, yeah. She leaves. Unbeknownst to me at that time, Valerie went into Mike's room first and like asked him like, hey, have you seen Annie? And he said no. Or actually, she said, do you know where Annie is? And he said, I don't know. And then she came into my room and asked me, and then I said that and she left, right? So after that, she went back into Mike's room. And at this time, Annie had like bright pink hair. So she walks in the room this time, walks up to Mike's bed, shines her phone, and can obviously see Annie's fucking hair. And so she's, and which, under the blanket, like Mike is like hiding her. And so she's like,
Mike is also not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, he's shirtless. And so, so Valerie's like, is Annie in here? And he goes, oh, yeah, my bad. She just wanted to sleep. And so she comes into our room and she's like, she's in there cuddling with Mike right now. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, like they're in there cuddling like in his bed. And I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, she starts like breaking down. And so I get up. I'm like, all right, I'll come upstairs. And so I get out of bed. I don't have fucking socks on, bro. No socks. I don't even think I had a bra on. So I go upstairs. Nathan is now awake at this point in time, which I should have inferred by her telling me that he told her that, but I did not connect the dots at that time. And so it's the three of us. We're sitting on the balcony, and I think we were smoking. And so we're talking. Valerie starts crying, like telling me like all this stuff about her and Annie's relationship and everything like that. And like, it's really fucked. Like, it was really fucked up. Like, she was like, she was like, I just didn't want, like, I don't remember how she said it, but she basically was like, I have not opened myself up to someone in such a long time, and like I finally opened myself up to her and like told her what I wanted to be, and then she does this. And like, it was also a boundary that they had already set, like with Mike specifically. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. With him as a person, that boundary was already set. And so she's like, beat the fuck up. And so now it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm like go to bed. Like, she tries to go to bed, but she ends up not. And so her and Nathan just stay upstairs, but I went back to bed. And I don't think I woke up until like 8:39ish, which we had to be out of the Airbnb at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so I go back upstairs. And Nathan and Valerie are on the couch still. It's still just the three of us awake. And they're still in bed together. They're literally still in fucking bed together.
Like, by this point, Mike was awake and, like, on his phone.
Yeah, and just in bed with Annie. And so, like, a while goes by, and I'm trying to start cooking, and so I wake Andrew up, because, like, Andrew will not wake up on his own. So, like, this shit's so funny. I go downstairs, and I'm trying to actually change before I wake him up, so that way I could just change in the room and not have to change in the bathroom. But it was freezing, so I went to turn the fan off so I could change and not fucking shiver me timbers. And so I press the button beep on the fan, and yeah, it makes a little beep sound. It goes beep, and this man arises out of his slumber, like full like exorcist, arises off the bed and just goes, "No." I'm sorry. I was like, "Hello?" I was like, "No, it's cold in here, and I would like to change." I was like, "Just lay back down." I changed. And then I fill him in on what was going on. He processes. He ends up waking up. He comes upstairs. I start trying to cook. Okay? Mike has the fucking nerve to text Nathan and is like, "Send Nyomie down here ASAP. We need to talk to her." Like I'm some fucking therapist or something. So I turn the stove back off and I walk my fucking happy ass back down these steep ass steps. I enter their room. They still have the lights off. And I open the door. And I say, "Can I turn the light on?" And I hear a, "Yeah, that's fine." I turn the light on. And before I can even shut the door behind me, Mike looks at me and goes, "So we made a mistake." As they're laying in bed and cuddling and he is shirtless. And so I looked at him and I said, "I can tell." I'm nodding my head yes right now. You guys can't see that. But I'm a very aggressive yes. And so I shut the door. I sit down, and they're basically just like, "We don't know what to do. Like, we feel so bad," as they're still cuddling each other. Like, "We know we need to talk to her, but we don't know what to say." And I basically was just like, "Girl, I'm Team Valerie. So I don't know what to tell you to say, but you guys do need to talk to her, and you need to stop being here because this is not making it any better."
Yep.
And so then I left. I go back upstairs. Also, Mike tells me we didn't have sex or anything. So I assume that means we just cuddled.
Or anything.
Like,
or anything.
Yeah.
Anything means anything.
Like he literally
Anything.
said or anything. And so I assume that means that they just cuddled.
And so, yeah, by this point I'm sitting on the bed, I'm sitting on the couch with Valerie and Nathan, and you come back upstairs and you keep cooking, and like we're just sitting there. And like a good like 30 minutes goes by.
Yeah, I was like halfway done with making breakfast.
Like a good 30 minutes goes by, and Annie comes walking up the steps.
I about to say, I actually don't know how this went down, so I'm glad that you were there for this.
She comes walking up the steps, and we're all just sitting on the couch. And then she walks in silence around us, and then goes up the other steps to their room.
Yeah, because the steps to downstairs and the steps to upstairs were both, like, directly behind the living room couch.
And so I got up to go tell you that she just came upstairs. And I guess Valerie got up to go talk to her. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting, like, at the bar in the kitchen just watching you make breakfast.
Yeah.
And
I'd say, like, 5 minutes
go by. 5-10 minutes go by. And we hear thumping down the steps.
And I don't even know if you could see it because of the wall. But I literally just look over,
yeah.
And Valerie is just storming out of the house, like the front door,
running,
sobbing. And so I turn around, and me and Andrew make eye contact, and I'm like, "You have to go after her." 'Cause, like, I'm cooking, I can't. So I'm like, "You have to go after her."
Yeah, so
he does.
And so I go out there, and she's, like, just sobbing, like, just totally breaking down, and she just starts telling me, she was like, "She told me that they made out, and blah, 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 and that she that cuddling with him made her realize that she didn't want to be with me, and blah, blah, blah," and, like, so, like...
It's Easter Sunday morning.
Easter Sunday morning.
Like, it was April 1st.
And so, like...
No, it was actually March 31st, I think. That's what day was Easter.
Yeah, and so we're just walking. I'm just, like, talking her through everything, and, like, I get her to, like, a place that's calm.
Yeah, didn't you say that she kept being like, I should have known?
Yeah, she was just being, she just kept saying, like, oh, I should have known, oh, I should have known, oh, I should have known. And so, like, we go back inside, and she goes, I don't even remember where she went. I think she went outside.
I have no idea. I think
All I
she
know
went
is,
in the bathroom.
Yeah. And then I told Naomi, I was like, they made out, because we didn't know.
Yeah, we had no idea.
And so I tell her, and she's gagged, obviously.
I was like, what the fuck?
And
I think Nathan came into the kitchen at this point,
mm-hmm.
and
Here,
he's... Oh my god. I think Nathan came into the bathroom at this point, and he is... Why did you lock it?
I don't know.
Yeah, he came into the kitchen at this point, and we're all talking about it, and I don't know when we found out that he knew. I don't remember when we found that out. Was it while we were still in Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Or was it in the car ride?
No, it was when we were still in Georgia, because he told us that he thought Mike looked at him and was like,
in the
"We
kitchen?
made out for 4 hours." Yeah.
Like, in the conversation that I'm talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I feel like you should talk about this, because I don't remember. Sorry, guys. The way that you're just, like, holding it by the fucking string and not the thing is crazy.
Oh, I'm holding it by the base.
Alright, proceed. Nathan comes into the kitchen with us.
Yeah, so Nathan comes into the kitchen with us, and we tell him. I tell him what Valerie just told me. And he goes, "Oh, I know. When I woke up this morning, I walked up there, and Mike told me, oh, me and Annie just made out for 4 hours." So he knew this whole time. And I mean, I wasn't awake, but you said that, like, y'all were literally sitting up there, like, trying to figure out what they were doing, like, what happened. Like, they were trying to...
And he acted like he didn't know
acted like he
anything.
didn't know, and Nathan knew everything. And so I don't think Valerie found out until after we left.
Yeah, because it was in the car. It was in the car ride.
Mhm.
I 100% know that. But yeah, so he told us that.
And so, I don't know, we're up there, and Naomi's making breakfast, and at some point, Mike comes upstairs. Mike and Annie did. They were both out. They both come, like, they were both there, and they go outside, and Mike rolls a blunt, and me being me, I walked outside.
Yeah.
Because, one, I wanted to talk to them, and then, two, I wanted to smoke the blunt. And so I walk out there.
Yeah, but didn't Valerie...
Yeah, and so I walk out there and I'm sitting, and then like 5 minutes go by, and then Valerie comes outside.
No, not even. She literally followed you straight
Did she?
outside. Yeah,
Oh.
she followed you straight. Because she was waiting for one of us to go out there, because she didn't go by herself.
Yeah, so Valerie goes out there, and we're all, like, just smoking this blunt. And as Annie and Mike keep handing this blunt to each other, they keep dropping it, which is just irony on irony on irony.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I don't think it's working up here. For those of you who don't know, in the stoner world, which this is just like a theory, you know, but if you drop the blunt when it's being passed to you, it means the person that you are talking to or fucking with is fucking someone else.
Yeah, it means they're cheating on you. So it's just, like, ironic that it kept happening between the two of them. And so, like, we finished the blunt, and they both go back inside, and then I think that's when she used your phone. She called her mom. Valerie called her mom. She's on the phone with her mom.
And fucking Annie is out front on the phone with probably her own mom.
Yeah,
playing
she's on
the
phone
victim,
with someone,
crying in the front yard of this Airbnb.
Yep. And so, you know, breakfast is ready, and we all, except for Annie, everyone but Annie, sits down at this fucking dining room table to eat breakfast, and it's just, like, silent. Like, it was the most awkward breakfast I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, like, it was like we had set the table and everything, and, like, we picked certain seats so that Valerie wouldn't have to sit by them. So it was like Nathan was the head of the table, to my left, and then Valerie was across from me, and Andrew was to her left.
Yeah.
And then Annie was supposed to sit next to me. She never came. And then
Yeah, she never came to breakfast. So,
Yeah.
like, we're sitting there eating breakfast. It's awkward silence. At this point, Annie had gone back upstairs into her bedroom.
to do God knows fucking what.
Yeah, literally, to do God knows fucking what. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, we just hear a dun, 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 dun. And we're like, what the fuck?
It was a and a ow. like there was this, like she literally said ow, and we were like, did she just fall down the stairs? And so Nathan goes to check on her.
He goes, did you just fall? And she goes,
No. We were like, what? She did fall. She ended up admitting to that later.
She did indeed fall down the stairs.
But yeah, so she never came, and so everyone else just ate. And I'm pretty sure Mike once again complained about not getting enough food, which technically was Nathan's fault because he fucked up the first batch of eggs.
Yeah.
Because we were going to have just a whole carton's worth of eggs, which would have been more than enough for everyone.
But he made the eggs like
way too
5
early.
hours early.
So they were just dried out and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
So we had to make the other half instead of having like the whole thing. But yeah, we had enough pancakes because I'm her.
Yeah.
And then we also had toast and shit. So like it was fine, but like, you know what I'm saying. After that, like, we had to clean up the house. And at this point in time, it was already past 11. So we were just like, as long as we're not here by, like, I think it was 3, we were fine.
Yeah, so we dipped.
We tried to clean up as much as we could, and we left. Mike and Annie, once again, drove in their car together.
They were by themselves in the car together. And then Valerie was in the truck with Nathan. And then me and Naomi were together.
Yeah. And so on this day we decided this like on like the Saturday, like so before, but on this day we wanted to go see something at least while we were here. And so now at this point in time it was just like, what the fuck are we gonna go see, you know? And we also did not want to be in Georgia all day because the next day was Monday. Me and Andrew did not want to get home at 4:00 in the morning. Both the other girls had school the next day at 7 a.m. So like we wanted to get home at a decent time that night. So we tried to go somewhere nearby. We ended up driving like to this like little mountain view thing. I don't even remember what it was. It was like a hiking trail.
Yeah, it was like a little trail.
So we hiked that for a minute.
And Annie's just riding fucking Valerie's dick
like
the
she
whole
would not
time.
leave her alone, bro. And so once we finished this, we take a couple pictures, whatever. We chilled out for a second. I realized that I left something at the Airbnb, so we had to go back. And we all went back. And then on the way coming back from the Airbnb.
My God.
On the way coming back from the Airbnb, we're driving and Andrew just looks at me and goes, Naomi, a wasp just flew in the car. And I'm like, pull this bitch over right now. I'm like, you need to pull this bitch over right now. And so, like, fucking, like, perfectly as hell. Like, this was, like, so perfectly executed. I press his hazards. He starts to slow down and he pulls over, like, perfectly. Nathan was in front of us, and so he did not stop because he didn't know that we were pulling over. But Mike was driving behind us, so he did pull over because he saw us pulling over, so he pulled over. And so this wasp is in the car. Andrew gets Mike to kill it. We were done driving with the windows down. I don't even know how the next bug got in the car. Like, I have no idea. We were done driving with the windows down. We meet up with, which Nathan ended up like turning around, but we kept going. And so we ended up having to wait for them to catch up to us. But yeah. And so we all met up again. And then this time we were all going to go to Buc-ee's because none of us had been, well, Valerie and Annie went to Buc-ee's.
No, Mike and Annie went.
Mike and Annie went to Buc-ee's on the way there. But we all agreed to stop on the way back because like none of the rest of us didn't fucking go. And so we all are going to Buc-ee's and we're on the fucking highway and somehow, some way, which actually it happened previously. I still don't remember how though, but Andrew's like, I think there's a moth in the car. This bitch was huge as fuck. So I don't blame you for thinking it was a moth. And Andrew's like, I think there's a moth in the car. And so like we drove with all the windows down for like a solid like 30 minutes. We didn't hear any buzzing. We didn't see anything. And I was like, I think we're good. And so we're like, we're going to keep the windows up for the rest of this fucking drive.
Yeah.
And so we kept the windows up. About 2 hours go by. We're like halfway to Buc-ee's by now. This bitch flies at my face. Literally flew straight at my face, and I freaked the fuck out. I literally started screaming. I was like, Andrew, oh my God. Ah, ah, ah. And I don't know where it went. And so I'm looking, and I had my seatbelt on. I'm looking, and like, you know how there's that band of the seatbelt that goes over your waist? The end on my right leg was like curled up a little, and I looked down, and the bitch was laying on my leg under the seatbelt, and I freaked out ×2. And so now I'm fucking flicking it off my leg, screaming, ah, ah,
Oh my God, no, this shit was so funny.
I was screaming and laughing at the same time, and I'm flicking it. I have no idea where it is again. And so now I'm like, Andrew, you need to pull over. I cannot do this. Like, I was like, I cannot live like this. You need to pull over. He decides that he just wants to take the next exit and pull over to the closest gas station.
Pulling over on the side of the highway because if someone else pulled over and they were like, why are you pulled over right now? And we looked at them and we were like, because there's a bug in the car. I would have jumped off of the 26-story Hyatt downtown.
So, yeah, he pulled into the nearest gas station, and we both hopped out that bitch fast as fuck. Actually, I'm a liar. While we're pulling off the highway, I look down, and it's crawling up his center console next to my leg, and I start to lose my mind. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? And he's just like, kill him. I'm like, I don't have anything to kill it with. I'm wearing sneakers. I don't know what to do. And I have Ozium, which is like the room smelling spray. And I just start drowning the bitch. I had a full can of Ozium, and that bitch is basically empty. I drowned it, and it ended up crawling underneath the plastic of his center console. So now we're in this gas station parking lot. I go pee.
Parking lot. I'm trying to breathe.
Yeah, Andrew hated it. Well, you still hate it, but it was worse for you then than now.
Bro, the Ozium was like literally, it was mustard gas. Like I was dying, like literally dying. So we get out, and I took a good like 20 steps before I even just like.
Yeah,
and Naomi went inside to pee.
And I looked at him and I was like, you need to find this bug.
Oh my God, no! But that gas station,
it was sick.
There was a fucking Burger King,
a Subway.
There was something else in it.
I think it was a McDonald's.
Yeah, there was like 4 fucking restaurants
in there. It was sick. One of them was a Dunkin'.
Yeah, there was a Dunkin'.
It was sick, and there was like a shopping store in there, like clothes and stuff like that. It was really sick. I'm not gonna lie. It was but it wasn't like a truck stop gas station. Like it was like a Chevron.
Well, yeah, except it was a truck stop gas station because when we pulled in, I literally pulled in and stopped, and we were in the middle of the fucking truck parking.
Yeah, we were.
And so we're literally sitting there outside waiting until fucking Nathan.
Yeah, because I called Nathan and I told him that he needed to come save us because they were behind us. I don't remember why. Oh, because they already stopped. They stopped for Valerie to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, you need to come help us. And so while I was peeing, Andrew was in his car smacking the center console trying to get this bug out.
And it would not fucking
not come out.
And then, of course, fucking Nathan shows up, gives that bitch one smack, and here comes the fucking bug.
Yeah, it just fell out.
Some fucking stupid bitch.
And so we got it out of the car. It lived, unfortunately. I wish someone would have. You tried to step on it.
I did.
I watched you try.
I watched it fly away. Like I literally, I watched it until I could not see it anymore. I was not playing any games. Yeah. And we drove the rest of the way.
I think until we got to Florida.
Yeah, I think once we were in Florida, we did some of the windows down.
But we drove the rest of the state. And I remember I was so stressed about this. I was like, I want to go home. The bugs here are scary. I hate it here. Because we found out later, like once we came home and like settled and like, I think I saw a TikTok about it actually. That's how we figured it out.
That it was a cicada
It was a fucking cicada killer. Google it right now. I'll give you a second. Them bitches are scary, and that is what flew at my face.
No, and what's so funny is like a week later we were talking about it, and we were at Chili's. We were fucking at Chili's, and I was telling Naomi about how when I was in elementary school we used to have cicada killers in my school, and she was like, no we didn't, we don't have those in Florida. And I said, yes, we do. We have cicadas in Florida. And she said, no, we don't. I saw the map earlier today. I literally looked at the map. There are no cicadas in Florida.
Yeah, which the map that I saw was the predicted cicada outlook for this year.
So I go on Google and I Google, are there cicadas in Florida? And Google informed
says
me that there were 19 different types of fucking cicadas in Florida.
I was very stressed out by
I
this
was
information.
stressed out, and so I said, yeah, so there are in fact cicada killers in Florida, but they only come out when the cicadas come out, which is only a certain so many years.
Which fortunately does not happen in
I
Florida
think it's
very
like
often.
every 7 years here.
Yeah, but no, it's just every 7 years in general. But I don't think it happens here very often.
No, but like when they come out, they're annoying.
Yeah, they are. The videos I've seen of cicadas, scariest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, so we did find out that it was a cicada killer. Anywho, we make it to Buc-ee's.
We did get to
Buc-ee's was the worst fucking gas station I've ever been inside of in my entire life.
Oh my god, 10 out of 10. Do not recommend. I literally
I mean,
wanted to
I
die.
do recommend, but not really.
Yeah, it was.
If you could send someone else to go inside for you, then you should go.
If I could like
DoorDash it?
No, if I could like rent out Buc-ee's for an hour,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Because there was just so
I
many
wouldn't even
people.
need an hour.
No.
I just need like 15 minutes.
There was just so many people there. It was just so overwhelming. And like, it's just so big and there's so many things and there's so many people. It's just too much.
Like, I could not look at everything. And I would have loved to.
I
Like,
was just so like overstimulated.
Like, I really would have loved to have been able to look at like all the clothes and shit and like whatever. But like, I could not. Like, I literally could not. So we got the bare minimums and we left.
Like, it was like being at Disney World, but everyone was in one room.
Like, it was terrifying.
I hated it.
So we got our sandwiches.
And we dipped.
We got our sandwiches, we got our jerky, we both got something sweet, and we got a drink, and we were out that hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the fountain drinks were cheap as fuck.
They were.
The large, why did I say it like
Large. The large.
that? Fuck you.
Oh, you know, the large.
My dick, bro.
The large drink from Buc-ee's.
The large drink from Buc-ee's was like 89 cents. It might be 99, but it was not $1, I know that.
You know, it was super cheap. And I got a Buc-ee's cola. Because I'm a Coke bitch.
Yeah, I got the root beer.
I got cola like by Buc-ee's, and it was actually pretty good.
The root beer was also pretty good.
I'm like very specific. Honestly, I'm not that specific about colas.
You're not. I mean,
like,
you're a Coke girl.
yeah, I am a Coke girl, but like I'm not picky. I'm not one of those bitches like I will never drink Pepsi. Like, you
He
know,
doesn't mind that much.
if we go somewhere and they're like we have Pepsi, I'm like okay.
Yeah, like he's not that deep about it. It just needs to be cola flavor.
But like a good like cold RC cola in a fucking glass bottle, chef's kiss.
Yeah, like it just needs to be cola flavored and he's chilling.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got our stuff and then we went back out.
We all smoked.
We got in all in one car.
We all got in my car.
Yeah, and Valerie sat in the back, I think, that time.
She sat back there with them.
And I felt so bad. But I was eating, so I was not about to let her sit on my lap.
Yeah.
But yeah, we smoked that last blunt while we were in Georgia. And then we were supposed to drive all the way back through Georgia together and then make a stop at this gas station, the same one that me and Andrew stopped at on the way to Georgia. Back, like the one that was in Florida when we switched. Yeah. We all agreed on this.
Yeah, like before we left Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So
Mike and Annie whip out of the Buc-ee's parking lot. Like, they did not wait for anyone. They were gone. So Nathan stays behind us. We get on the highway. He's behind us. Like, we were chilling. Like, we drove basically all the way through Georgia together.
yeah, they ended up fucking 30 minutes ahead of us.
Yeah. And so we're getting closer to the Florida state line, and I'm watching their location to make sure that they stop at the right gas station, and they drive past it.
They just keep driving.
And so I text Mike, and I'm like, you just passed the gas station that we were all supposed to stop at. And he's like, oh, we're not stopping. We're driving all the way through. And I was like, we all agreed to stop. And he's like, no, I told you guys I wasn't stopping. So I took a screenshot of that, and I sent it to Nathan. And Nathan goes, no, he didn't. He literally never said that. And so I text Mike back, and I say, no one heard you say that. And he goes, oh, well, I said it.
No, he didn't.
And I was like, whatever. Did not talk to him again, whatever. And so
We stop at the fucking gas station.
Yeah, all four of us stop at the gas station. We all go to the bathroom. Like, whatever. We get drinks. Me and Andrew switch. Nathan and Valerie also switched.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back onto I-75, and we're heading home.
And we start driving,
and Valerie is not driving the speed limit. Well, she is, but she's driving the speed limit. And I'm not going to say much on here because I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Likes
but
to drive fast.
I like to drive a little bit faster than the average Joe. So I call Nathan and I'm like, hey, we're in Florida.
We're going to take off now.
I'm not driving the speed limit, you know?
And they're just like, okay.
And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And so I take off. I'm gone. I'm going.
So we're driving for a good, maybe hour and a half.
I was going to say an hour and a half.
And we check Life 360, and Mike and Annie are stopped at a gas station.
And it was 19 minutes.
Yeah, it was 19 minutes. No, it was
it was
32.
13.
It was 32 minutes away.
13.
And so we're driving, and Naomi's like, I bet we can pass them while they're at this gas station. And so,
I almost did.
And so we floor it, and so we're 32 minutes away. And then by the time
drops to 9 minutes.
And by the time they leave, we're 9 minutes behind them.
Yeah.
And so eventually we catch up to them, and we're just driving down, and then we lose them.
Because I'm her. We were cutting up. I lost them because I'm her.
And we get home, and we stop at this parking lot by our house.
Yeah, because
to smoke one last blunt all
because
together.
they texted, and they were like, do you guys want to smoke the Dominoes? And, bitch, free? I'm down.
No, for real.
I'm there.
So we go there, we smoke, and Valerie sat on my lap.
Yeah, this time we let her sit up front.
And yeah, that's pretty much the story.
It was honestly really silent too. It was silent.
It was honestly one of the most awkward days of my life.
But safe to say, that friend group fell apart.
Yeah, that group did fall apart. It does not exist any longer. We do still talk to Nathan and Valerie. Mike and Annie are no longer.
But they are together now.
Yeah, but they are together now. They are dating.
Let us know how you feel about that, guys.
Yeah, let us know how you guys feel about that, because the feelings we have aren't great. TBH.
Not at all.
But yeah, that's pretty much...
That's the Georgia trip.
That's the Georgia trip, and it was so traumatizing on so many different levels for so many different reasons. Traumatizing when we got yelled at, traumatizing when they got lost, traumatizing when the trust was broken, traumatizing driving that truck. Oh my with fucking rear wheel drive.
Girl.
Literally. Do not ever drive any vehicle with rear wheel drive in the mountains.
You're so ridiculous.
No, because that shit's just psh, it's just gonna, your wheel's just gonna spin in place.
You are so ridiculous. It's usually better to have a rear-wheel drive car. It's actually best to have a four-wheel drive car.
Yeah, it's best to have a four-wheel drive.
That concludes the main section of the Nightmare Rotation. So, today's Nightmare Rotation is Jojo Siwa, Avery Cyrus,
and Abby Lee Miller.
Girl.
No, because I just saw on Twitter today that Abby Lee Miller is up and at it again. She's going wild.
Is she not in a wheelchair anymore?
No, she's she's up and at it in the wheelchair.
Oh, but say she's standing?
No, she is very much sitting down, but I saw she had posted something today, and it was a screenshot of Dance Moms, but it was in the thing Christy's face was in it, and she pixelated her face out in the screenshot. So yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of wild.
And Jojo Siwa was in her whatever era. I don't know what you even call that.
She's calling it gay pop because she apparently is the inventor of gay pop.
Yeah. RuPaul doesn't exist.
Girl, there's so many other people.
Forget Lady Gaga. Forget fucking anyone. Girl, Dua Lipa is fucking gay pop. Be for real.
What are we talking about? And karma's a bitch. I shouldn't. I'm gonna get fucking copyrighted.
Oh
Don't
my
put
God,
that
no.
in.
Yeah.
Do not put that in.
And that's where it's stopping.
Do not put that in. Yeah, no, that's wild though.
And I saw a fucking video of her today doing an interview.
Which one?
I don't remember who the interview was with, but she had this fucking purple hair, and it was like styled like the way it was styled. I don't know how to explain it, but when I tell you who it was compared to, you'll understand. So it was a picture of her with like lavender.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then next to it, because I saw it on Twitter, was a picture of the guy from the fucking Hunger Games who hosts the show. You know what I'm talking about? Bro, the hairstyles were identical.
That is wild.
Bro, they were identical. No, but like honestly, Jojo Siwa, she's just such a strange. And the funniest thing to me about it all is like she's going through this like era, but like while all of this is happening, they're airing the fucking Dance Moms reunion that they filmed a few months ago, and she's still she's still in her girly pop shit, and so it's just like so interesting to see like the juxtaposition from before to now. And it's just like I mean obviously I get why she did it, because she wants money, she wants attention,
because she just gave half of her fucking money to her mom,
yeah,
that her mom already took half of literally her entire life.
But I saw Trisha Paytas talking about her on her podcast.
Well, didn't she have her on her podcast recently?
I don't know.
I'm pretty positive she did.
She might have, but I saw Trisha Paytas talking about her, and she basically was like, I don't understand why you would basically take your entire fan base, who is kids, and then turn your back on them for another audience that wants nothing to do with you.
That's real.
Like, I've seen so many TikToks of like kids or like shit on Twitter or Instagram of like kids being like, Jojo Siwa's cussing now, Jojo Siwa became blah blah blah, she became evil, blah blah blah. And it's just like, you know, I hope they don't think she's evil because they think she's a lesbian now, but like at the same time I don't understand why you would turn your back on your entire audience. For what? Like, and for what?
Well, I mean, I think you also just have to, like, you have to put into perspective that, like, kids were her audience, yeah, but, like, while she was a kid. She's a grown-ass woman now. I think it's normal for her to not want children to be her audience anymore.
Yeah, but she's been a grown-ass adult.
Not really. She's literally only, like, a year or two older than us.
She's, like, 23.
I just said she's only, like, a year or two older than us.
Yeah.
So she really has not been an adult for that fucking long. Like, it makes sense. It's like that one episode of fucking South Park. I think it's South Park, where the fucking go what the fuck? Yo Gabba Gabba. Jesus Christ. Yo Gabba Gabba and fucking the pink one. And she decides that she wants to be a slut because she's a grown woman and she doesn't want to be like an audience to children. That's so valid. Like, I think if I was like, I think most like teen people did that. Miley Cyrus did the same thing. Like I feel like a lot of them did that, especially coming from. And
a lot of people are being like, girl, Miley Cyrus's era is eating yours out.
I mean, yeah, but Miley Cyrus is also like 10 years ahead of her.
Yeah.
Like right now, what's happening with Jojo Siwa is when Miley Cyrus is in her Wrecking Ball era.
Right.
Like that's the equivalent.
Right, but like Wrecking Ball versus fucking Karma.
Okay, no, but think about it. Actually put into perspective, when Wrecking Ball came out, it was a fucking worldwide meme. Nobody actually took that song seriously. It was made fun of on literally every social media platform. That is exactly what's happening to her right now.
So you think she's just going to be the next Miley Cyrus?
No, I'm just saying that, like, it happens. Like, I feel like it's not that Miley Cyrus was not the last person that it happened to. And Jojo Siwa is not going to be the next person that it happens to.
No, but I just think it's funny that she thinks she's the first.
I mean, she thinks that she's the fucking first in everything. But I think that it's a publicity act. Like, I think it's...
absolutely.
I think it's the same thing, like, with, like, how Sketch, like, amplifies himself whenever he's live. I think that that's what it is.
Yeah, and, like, that's what Trisha was talking about. She was like, it's all, like, for publicity, and it's all for attention and for money. But she was like, I just don't understand what the angle is, because if that's not your audience, like, what money are you getting out of this? Especially because, first of all, she stole the song from someone else.
She didn't steal the song.
Well,
She bought the rights.
She bought the rights to the song, but the person's version of the song is also like available, and I guess their version, the original version, is getting more streams than hers or something.
That's hilarious.
Which I think is really funny. I keep seeing that on TikTok.
Another thing about that also came out, I guess. Another song that she wrote. People were saying the same thing about that one too, but I haven't heard much about that.
Bro, and like the way that her song, like that girl that was making fun of it, like Jojo Siwa's new album.
Oh, the one that predicted it before it came out?
Yes, that shit was so
wild.
funny.
Like, she knew.
She literally knew.
Because it's predictable.
And then I don't even know that much about Avery. Like, when that whole shit was going down, I was not paying attention. I just knew it was some dumb shit.
I think it was like Avery cheated on her. Or something. And then like they ended up getting back together at some point, and they broke up again recently. And she went on like she got on an interview, and they were like, "What would be your dream podcast guest?" And she was like, "One of my exes. I like to spice things up."
Yeah, she's so
like, bitch, what is that?
She's so corny.
She's
it's
so animated.
Weird. No, and it's so funny. I watched a clip from the fucking Dance Moms reunion, and they're all talking about like Abby Lee Miller and whatever, and like they're all talking about like how they made her feel, and JoJo just goes, I mean, I can just speak for me personally, and just like with everything that she said to me, she was right.
I did see that.
And then they all just look at her, and there's just silence afterwards.
She was like she was yelling at me and stuff like that, but she was right. And like, as someone who still works in Hollywood today, like, I'm so grateful that she did that or some shit like that.
Yeah, and all of them are looking at her like, bitch, you're fucking weird.
Like, I can get where you're coming from, but
be for real.
Like, some of these girls have like real trauma from this. Girl, you're balding.
You're balding.
Like, you're literally balding. You went through enough. You don't think? Who was the one girl that got a chair thrown at her?
Paige, she was on there.
Like, hello? Girl, y'all have been through the ringer.
I watched them talk about that episode earlier.
Like, you guys have been through the fucking ringer. I don't think anyone enjoyed that. Like, sure, she had, like, the right fucking, like, thought at heart, and, like, what she was doing was to make you better. But the way she did it, girl, side eye.
Bro, Abby Lee Miller, she's a wild woman.
Anytime I think about her, the only thing that comes to mind is that clip of her in the theater.
Rolling away.
And then she goes to Baskin Robbins.
Yes. Where are you going? Probably Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, I that is like the only image that I have of her in my mind. Like, it's like a GIF that plays in my head every time her name is said.
No, and then you know, like, she doesn't go to Baskin Robbins. You know that, right?
What do you mean? Don't the producers like chase her down the street?
Okay, so before she like backs up, she's on her phone. Like,
yeah, and the one mom is like, get off your phone. And so she puts her phone down and reverses all the way down, and then she leaves, and all you can hear is the producers being like, she's leaving, she's leaving.
And she's like, I'm going to Baskin Robbins. And so then they start following her down the street in New York City. She goes to the police station, and she files a police report for assault because the lady touched her.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was the nearest police station?
Bro, how did she know how to get there? That was my question.
It's
like,
she was Googling it while she was reversing out the theater.
No, she literally, like, she was on the move.
Like, that's so funny. And it's funny when they're like running down the sidewalk after her, and they're like, there she is. She's
no, that shit was like Maury, you know, when they used to chase them with the cameras.
Dude, that shit was so funny.
You are not the father. And then they would run and they would chase that literally that. Literally that.
So funny.
That shit was hilarious.
She was fast as fuck.
On that scooter.
She was moving.
On her little scooter.
Yeah, that shit was funny. Dance Moms was like an era.
Bro, Dance Moms was so good, but I feel bad for every single person who was ever on that show. But low-key, there's a part of me that, like, I don't feel bad for the moms. Because, at some point, you know, you put yourself there and you put your kid there. You know?
Yeah,
And
like you as the adult could have stepped out of that situation at any point in time. Bitch, y'all could have went to the Candy Apples and got such better treatment.
And like obviously, like I know they're under contract, and so like it's not like they can just up and leave whenever they want, unless like you punch Abby in the face after she calls you a dingbat.
Well, I mean, I feel like
But like,
with it being an extracurricular, they had to have been able to just up and leave whenever they want. Like, it's not like you can just, like, you don't sign to a fucking dance studio.
no, but it wasn't with the studio that they had a contract with. It was for filming that they had a contract.
Yeah, but that's completely different.
Right, but if you have a contract with filming, then you can't leave the studio because then you can't film.
Yes, but if you are, like...
Unless they were to go to another studio.
Yeah, but like, if you're quitting, girl, you're quitting. Like,
right.
You can quit.
It's just, like, it would be a breach of contract, and then you would have to pay a fine for that.
Well, I feel like it would just depend on what the contract is. Like, I don't think a production company would force kids into having to dance because they're filming a show. Like, that doesn't sound... that doesn't make sense to me.
No, they're not. But, like, you sign a contract to be on however many seasons. So, like, Dance Moms, the contracts went 4 seasons at a time. That's why, like, they finished season 7, like, and all the girls were older, and then, like, a couple years went by and they filmed a season 8 when she was out of prison, and then they had like a whole bunch of new people come in because they had to finish obliging that contract, because after season 4 they signed another 4-season contract.
Yeah, but when they came back with that contract, there were like half the girls weren't even the same girls. Like there was like new kids on the show.
Right.
So it's not following the same contract because they had new people.
But what I'm saying is, well, Abby was following her contract with them because she had the contract for 4 and 4. But because I used to watch the podcasts with the moms where they would talk about it, and they said that like they had a contract like obviously for just season 1 because they didn't know it was going to be season 2, and then they had a contract for season 2, and then after season 2 the contract was for 3 and 4 together. And so that's why Chrissy doesn't leave until the end of 4. And then Kelly obviously left because she fucking slapped Abby across the face. And then they had to go to court after that. But that was also part of what that lawsuit was about, was because they breached the contract. You have to pay a fine when you breach the contract. So Abby was suing them for like emotional damages and physical damages for assault, and they were countersuing for legal fees and for that. Ooh. Kelly and Paige also sued her. Paige sued her for $4 million at the age of like 13.
Yeah, but how were they countersuing her for breaching the contract? They don't have that privilege.
They weren't countersuing her for breaching the contract.
That's what you just said.
No, but they weren't suing her for breaching the contract. They were suing her for the money.
Okay, but that's what you just said. You said they were suing her for breaching the contract and that they were, like, for one other thing. That's what you said. But that it's not their contract, so they can't sue her for that. The only people that would be able to sue for that is the person who wrote the contract, which would be the production company. But like I said, I don't think a production company would make it to where kids have to, like, remain there for 4 years. Like, that just isn't, like, that literally sounds illegal.
I mean, I don't know the works and ways of fucking child labor laws like that. Like, I don't know how...
Girl, you should. You were a child laboring.
I mean, first of all, I don't know the child labor laws of fucking Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I'm just saying.
1. 2, I don't know how... I know how reality TV contracts work. I don't know how they work for kids. It's like, obviously, I know how they work for the moms. I don't know how they worked for the kids, but I know that the kids did have to sign contracts.
I need you to Google that because I don't think kids can sign contracts. I think you have to be, like, of legal age to sign a contract.
It's different when it's like for that.
I know, but I feel like their parents would just sign it for them. Like, I don't think they would sign it themselves.
Because, like, if you think if, like, you're filming, like, not reality TV, like, let's say you're just filming a regular show, when you sign on to do that, you sign a contract, you have to film all those episodes. You can't just quit halfway through. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can. People do it all the time, and they don't get fined. Happens all the time. And it happens in movies, too. I'm just saying. Shit happens often. People be pushing out of things all the time.
Yeah, anyways, fuck Jojo Siwa.
Real. Girl, fuck Abby Miller.
Fuck Abby Miller. Fuck Avery Cyrus. I don't know much about her, but she seems like a weirdo too, so fuck her too.
She's different.
And that's the nightmare rotation for the week. I would never want to smoke a blunt with any of them.
Real.
Honestly, actually, that's a lie. Honestly, smoking a blunt with Abby Lee Miller would probably be a great
I
experience.
don't think so. I would have to disagree.
I would love to watch her I would love to watch her like develop cancer in person.
Dude, she would cough and die. You would witness a death in front of you. I said what I said.
That's so funny. Well, this is the end of the nightmare rotation. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.